Hello guys, this is Aditya and today we are starting with intermediate Python. This is the first video for intermediate Python and here we'll be starting with functions in Python. So what is a function? A function is a set of code that is reusable, that can be used again and again just by calling the function. So we'll see what is a function, we'll see how do we write a function and what are the different properties of a function in Python. So let's get started with it. So how do we define a function? So first of all, there is a keyword def. That def keyword is used to define a function and the syntax is given here. Okay, in this way we define a function. So first let us write our first function, that is def my function. There may be parameters here or may not be parameters here. We'll see what are parameters and how do we pass parameters. So but first of all, let us just see what is a function. Print my name is Aditya. Okay, now we have written this function, so it has no effect until and unless we call that function. And how do we call a function? We just write the name of the function. This is how we call a function. So here it is, my name is Aditya. Okay, now see, this was just a function that prints whatever we have given inside this print statement. Okay, now there can be like this is a function that does not have a return value, it returns nothing. Firstly, the program executes this line, it finds that there is a function, so it goes to this function and does whatever it is written inside the function. Okay, and does not return back anything. So a function may have a return statement or may not have a return statement. So let's see what is a return statement. Say we just copy this same code. Okay, and this is a string, right? From here to here it is a string. So what we'll do is we'll assign this string to a variable, or maybe we directly return the string. Return. So this is how the return keyword is used. Okay, we return this string to whatever this function is being assigned to. Okay, suppose say name is the variable where this function is being assigned. Okay, and then we want to print what is the value inside the name. Let us see. So it is the same, right? So how this program works is it first goes to this line. Okay, so we already know that the assignment works from right hand side to the left hand side. I mean the right, the variable in the RHS of the assignment is assigned to the variable in the left hand side, right? So it will call a function since there is a function in the right hand side. So it calls this function and it returns a string. So whatever string it returns, it comes at this place and then it is assigned to the variable name. Now when name is printed, whatever was returned from that function is printed as it is. Okay, if we don't want to use a variable, we can directly write it here, no problem with that. Okay, so this also works fine. So this is how there can be return, or there can be a return statement, or there may not be a return statement in a function. Okay, now these were functions where we did not pass any parameters. Okay, but a function may have parameters. Okay, it's not just that a function will never have parameters. So let's just copy this code. Let's just copy this code and paste it here. So let us give a parameter name. Okay, my name is name and we typecast it to string. I'll tell you what this function is doing. and we'll pass Aditya here. So first of all, it will print whatever is the output of this function call. Okay, this function call, my func function call. So what is the parameter passed here? That is a string of uh, a string that is a name. Okay, but it need not necessarily be name variable here, it can be anything. So this goes at the position of this name. Okay, and name holds this string. Okay, now string concatenation in Python can just be done by using a plus symbol, but both the operands should be string. If any of the operand is not string, then it cannot be done. So for just for safety purpose, I have typecasted it to string. Okay, so that it does not throw an error, uh, maybe when we're using something else. Okay, in place of string, if you're passing an integer, it will throw an error. So it's better to be safe and typecast it into string. Now let's run this. It gives the same output, but see, there is not a space here. We don't have a space here, so we'll just give a space here and it will work fine. Good. Now this is how a function may have a return type or may not have a return type. A function may have parameters or may not have parameters. Okay, so we are done with these 2 points. Now let's see how we can set default parameter values. Okay, let me just copy this code, and name is assigned to Aditya. Okay, let me just copy this code and paste it a few more times. You'll see the difference. Giving some space here. Suppose I just wrote here A and I wrote here B. I don't pass any parameter here. Okay, even if a parameter is required, but I don't pass any parameter here. And let me just write this as D. Okay, and I've given here Aditya. Okay, so if I run this, the output should be, see, first of all, the value of A goes here and it replaces the default value. Okay, it will replace what if we are giving uh, a value in the parameter, it replaces the default value in the parameter. Okay, there may be default value, there may not be default value. Okay, so if it replaces this thing, then the output will be my name is A. Then for the second case, the output will be my name is B. For the third case, when we have not given any parameter, so it will take the default value and it will print my name is Aditya. For the fourth case, it will print my name is D. And for the fifth case, Aditya, this thing will replace this thing, because the compiler does not know whether these things are same or not. It will not check whether these things are same or not. It will just replace the given parameter with the default parameter. Okay, and it will print my name is Aditya. So let's just run this. Well and good. Okay, as we expected. So this is how we can have a default parameter values. Okay, now the fourth thing is passing lists, tuples, sets, or dictionaries in Python. So for that purpose, we need to have, first of all, a function, and let's say I'll rename these things. Okay, first of all, let us have lists. Let's say my list is 1 2 6 2 anything. Okay, and my tuple is 2 8 5 anything. Okay, my set, since set does not have duplicate values, so we need to keep unique values here, 2 6 3. Okay, and my dictionary, it can store name as Aditya and maybe age as 24. Okay, now if I call, let me just rename these things. What we are doing here is we'll have an element and we'll have an index. Let us just assign the default value of index to 0. Okay, and what we will do is we will just print the value at index, whatever is the index, okay, is, sorry, is element of that index. Okay, index of that element, sorry. So but we will encounter errors for sure, so let me just write the function and I'll tell you why we will encounter errors here. So the first element should be my list, or you can keep anyone. I'm just keeping my list, and I want to get the second index of my list, so it will print the value at index 2 is 6, right? 0, 1 and 2, this is the second index and the value is 6. Now let me just copy this code, and then I want to pass my tuple and I want to get the first index. Okay, so it will say that the value at index 1 is 8. Then I'll pass my set, and if I want to access the first index, then it should print 6, but the problem here is set cannot be indexed. I mean, we cannot access an element of a set using an index. Okay, this is the property of a set, so this will throw error. So let's see what we'll do there. Even if we remove this, it does not matter. Okay, let me just remove this thing from here so that it will print by default the 0th index. And for dictionary, let's say if I'm using dictionary, dictionaries can also not be accessed using index. It can be, these are key value pairs, right? This is the key and this is the corresponding value. So dictionaries cannot be accessed using index, it can only be accessed using keys. Okay, so this should print the value at index age is 24. Okay, so well and good, but see, if it is by any chance, if the type of element is equal to set, then we should write that set cannot be accessed using index, but this set is, let's just write element. Okay, else will print whatever we were printing. Okay, so let us run this. This should work fine. See, the value at index 2 for this list is 6, right? The value at index 0, because we have not passed anything, so it will take the default value of index, that is 0, so it will print 2 for this case. Okay, and then set cannot be indexed, fine. If I don't use this thing, let me just comment it out. If I don't use this thing, then it will definitely throw an error. See, set object is not subscriptable, so that is why I have given this if condition. And as expected, for the dictionary, we can use keys as the index and it will give the corresponding values. The key here is age and the corresponding value is 24. So this is how uh, we can in place of just sending a single value or single yes, a single value, we can send a complete list or tuple or set or dictionaries in a function. So there is no problem with that. Okay, now the next thing that we'll be talking about is unknown number of arguments, when we don't know how many number of arguments will the user pass. Okay, so in that case what we can do is we can just give a star and we can write anything like args. Okay, this is just a variable, nothing else, and this star means there can be many values inside this variable. Okay, now uh, let me just print the length of args is length of args. Okay, and for value in args, okay, let me just print all the values, print value. So what if I call, like, say, suppose my func, and if I write a, what happens if I write not just a but a, b, c, or and so on. Okay, so let us see how will it print. See, the length of argument is 1 because only one argument is given. Okay, and the value is a. The length of argument is 3, and these are the 3 arguments that we have given. Okay, so just for revision I'll use the end thing, so that, see, the separator is a space, not a new line, so it will come in a single line. This was just for revision purpose. Okay, and this also came into this line, so if I just write here new line, so it will work fine. Yes, great. Now let's move on to the new thing, to the next thing, parameter passing using keywords. Okay, so let me just take anything. For example, let's say, yeah, this thing only. I'll use this thing only, and I'll just be using a list, not a tuple or a set or a dictionary, just for simplicity. Okay, so if I write element, we can write this way also, element, whatever was the name here, we can give it here. So the advantage of this thing is we can interchange the positions of the variables that we were giving, right? So if I just write index here, it won't make any difference. I can give the index first, the element later, but in such cases we need to assign the names of the variable that we were giving there. Okay, and then we need to pass give the value, so the same result, right? Even if we interchange the positions, the result is same. But if we don't write this thing, it won't work, it will throw an error. See, so that is why this is necessary. So we can use it this way as well, the functions. Now we are left with the last topic. Is there a main function in Python? See, most of the programming languages has a main function from where the execution of the program starts. So in Python we have not seen a main function till now, but yes, there can be a main function in Python. So how can we write a main function in Python? Let us see this. Let me first run this. Yes. So let us see this in Spider. Okay, it won't be much visible here, we can write it here as well, but let's just use spider for this. Okay, you can copy the same code here uh, from spider to Jupyter, it will work fine. So let me just write this. Define a function name, a function. Okay, and let me just, okay, yes, let me just write a print statement here that this is my function. Okay, and let me write just here print this is the main function, and let me just call my function. Okay, so the output for this should be this is the main function, and then this is my function, because first this was written, then my function was called. Okay, and if we have to import something, we can import here, import packages here if required. Okay, and we can define functions. See, it is always advisable to define functions above above the main. Okay, so here this is the main section. Okay, this portion is the main section, so it is always advisable to define a function above the main. So let me just run this. See, this is the main function and this is my func, my function. Okay, now, but we have not used a function like a main function, right? So we can use define main. Okay, like this, and we can keep this inside the main function. But see, this will not work because main is not a keyword here. Okay, main, the Python compiler does not know that this main function is actually the main function from where the program execution should start, so this won't return anything. See, we have run it for the second time, but there was no output, right? So if we want this main function to act actually as a main function from where the program should start, we need to write if name is equal to main. Okay, then call the main function. I think this should go under quotes, but let me just run this once. Yes, now it should work fine. See, it is working fine, right? So this is how we say to the Python compiler that, hey, this main function is actually the main function from where I want to start my code. Suppose if I just remove this main and write like my function 2. Okay, and I have to write here my function, sorry, my function 2. So this will treat this my function 2 as the main function. Okay, and it will start the execution of the program from here. So see, this, it works fine. So I hope you guys understood this whole concept of functions, and I also hope that you like the video. If you actually like the video, hit the like and the subscribe button. Also share it with your friends. So from the next video onwards, we'll be continuing with we'll start with a new topic, that is classes. So hope to see you soon. Keep supporting guys and have a great day ahead. Thank you very much.